Well, Maxi, very little time to bask in your glory of Saturday's quarter-final win over Dublin. Possibly can be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good thing. There's a lot of talk about it, and like a lot of people clapping you on the back. But as we all know, the clap on the back's very close to a kick up somewhere else. So there isn't much time to dwell on it or to get too bogged down and all of that. You just have to get your head back in the game, and you go from the frying pan into the fire. You go from the old All Ireland champions to the current ones, and a far greater challenge. I feel a team that's just brim full of youth and exuberance and flying full of confidence. So we know it's going to be a huge battle this week again.
And Meath provide a different kind of challenge to Dublin, don't they?
Yeah, very much. And I say that youth as much as anything else, they're a really young, hungry team, and Dublin were a team that were in the autumn of their evolution, you could say. So look, Meath are going to come with a bang. They probably weren't at themselves to the full extent they would have been last year up until this, but you could just see in Saturday night against Galway in the quarter final they had that bit between their teeth again. So yeah, it's going to be a huge battle for us.
Yeah, and of course you are the league champions. You've met them already. Get them a run for their money in the league final.
Yeah. Look, I don't think we have anything to fear from them. I think we know exactly what we're dealing with. And sometimes it's better the devil you know, the devil you don't. And we know they're going to be very defensive. They get bodies back, but they do it in such a good way, and they break up the field with serious pace. And I mentioned the youth in their team allows them to do that, and allows them to do it time and time again. They just don't stop from start to finish, and their energy levels is phenomenal, and their hunger and their will to carry out their game plan is brilliant to watch from a youthful perspective, as we all would have done last year. But look, when you're looking at it now from our side of the fence, and you're trying to bring them down, it's a daunting enough prospect. But look, we've put ourselves in a position to be in an All Ireland semi final, and we've taken down one of the greatest teams ever to play, and we're very proud of that, and we take great heart from that, and we know we get to Croke Park on Sunday, we have all we need to beat Meath, whether we go and do it or not.
Yeah. And the funny thing about Meath is, they've come from literally obscurity, intermediate championship a couple of years ago to senior champions. Last year was their big breakthrough.
Oh yeah. Look, they've consecutive promotions from Division 3 to Division 2 and now into Division 1, where they played this year and went on to win the thing. So they're on a phenomenal run. And look, even the fact they played in Croke Park so much over the last 2 or 3 years, I think this will be their 6th or 7th out in Croke Park, and even that in itself, the familiarity of that takes the daunting experience that is Croke Park away from them. So they are a very experienced outfit for a team that are so young. But look, their win ratio over the last number of years is frightening. They've lost maybe 3 games in 3 years. So a seriously confident group, and of the coach, and Paul Garrigan, a fantastic coach, and he's done a brilliant job with them. And they're on the crest of a wave, and they'll be a serious opponent for us on Saturday.
Yeah. Funny enough, Dublin beat them twice this year, was it? Beat them in the round robin. No, Meath beat them in the round robin.
Dublin only caught them once. They played
in the league final, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, Dublin did them twice. Dublin beat them in the league group stages and in the Leinster final. So yeah, and then Meath would have won the Leinster Championship group game, and then obviously last year's All Ireland final. So yeah, look, they were 2-2, and look, 2 great battles away. But I think the way Dublin played their football, was one thing that Meath really struggled with, no more than ourselves. That really high press, a really aggressive press all around the field, and that's a big challenge for us now, is to figure out what way to go at them. Do we go along the lines of what we had great joy with ourselves last weekend, or do we do what Dublin done with great success against Meath in the Leinster final? So yeah, look, there's a few tactical decisions for us to try and weigh up for the next few days.
How did Dublin beat them in the Leinster final?
They strangled the life out of them, and they just squeezed them all over the field. Look, they were very aggressive and probably got away with 1 or 2 decisions that I know Meath wouldn't have been happy about, and it was something that Meath had not come up against before. But look, that's a style of play that you just don't switch on overnight, and it's not something you do easily. And Dublin have been playing that way for a while, and they've been playing the game with an edge physically, and Barden going over the top, and I think Meath struggled that day with it, and they got the couple of decisions. They got a penalty at a stage was crucial for Dublin to win the game. So look, but it's a very different game. It's a completely new challenge for us compared to Dublin. We spent the last 3 weeks obsessing about Dublin and trying to figure out how to play them, and to be fair, Meath showed everybody the template for playing against Dublin, stifling them, and look, we tried to do something similar and thankfully it worked for us the weekend.
Yeah, so it's a mirror image of each other, really. You know.
Well, potentially, we all know that would have been Mickey Hart's, mantra when playing Donegal in the early 2000s, and or the 2012, 2011, that area. He always felt that that was a way to play that system, and I think people forget how close Tyrone came to taking Donegal out in 2012. It wasn't for a brilliant save by Papa at that stage. The whole thing may not have played out the way it did. So, it's look, it's the big one for us. At management level, is to try and figure out, is that the way to go? Is to mirror it wholesale and see who blinks first.
Yeah, mirroring it and following through on it. I suppose 2 weeks in succession. It'll be much the same game plan, really. You'll be trying to stifle them, make it as life is difficult for them, and hit them on the break.
Yeah, hit them on the break. But again, look, I say they're so experienced at it. They've been developing this for 4 years. We probably are at it for about 4 weeks, and I think that's going to make it an interesting challenge. We have serious footballers at the top end of the field, and it worked out well for us on Saturday. When the chances fell, those couple of girls took them. Yvonne and Curran and Niamh and Geraldin's contribution was massive. So you're hoping that that's how it plays out again. But you have to imagine that Meath will not be maybe as naive as Dublin, and they'll not leave the back door open to the same degree. I don't think they'll go player to player and say their own full back line. So again, the scores are probably going to be harder to come by than they were against Dublin. So no, it's going to be a very different game, but look, it's a great occasion for us, brilliant for the girls to get back to Croke Park.
As we said, you ran them very close in the league final, had them on the rack at one stage, and your team has changed quite a bit. I would suggest you got stronger.
Possibly, yeah. The likes of Emer Gallagher has come in after her injury. Deirdre Foley played the last day, very experienced player.
Tanya Kennedy's back.
Tanya Kennedy, she would have played the last 10 minutes of the league final, so another massive addition for us. And then Niamh Higgerty wouldn't have been in the squad long before the league final as well. So look, those are those two particularly played the last day, and the two girls that are just in are big helps to us. And look, we'd like to feel that we're a bit further down the line ourselves. All right, no, it would have been then, and Yvonne has probably more football played back then. But look, they're also 12 weeks further down the line than where they were at that stage, and you could just see on Saturday night the pep back in their step. And I don't think it'll be a game that will resemble the league final. I think it'll be a very different affair.
Has your team and your girls in them to put two performances back to back?
Well, that's the challenge. Look, I think so. I don't think we've played for 60 minutes before in the time I've been with them, and I think that's probably down to the way we set out to play it. It made for very little being able to go wrong in the early stages of the game. So when you control the game and play it on your terms, I think you are in a greater position of staying the course whichever coach you decide to go on. So look, I think that kind of a system allows for that, and you shouldn't get sucker punched in the way that we would have got done in previous games, even against Meath in the league final. We conceded a goal midway through the first half, with a kick out over the top. So look, you'd like to think that wouldn't happen, and I think it'll make for a far different game, and I think it allows our girls to settle into the game and be competitive the whole way through.
Tell me, any knocks or bruises after the weekend? There's a bunch of natural.
Plenty. But look, nobody we're overly concerned about. We train again tonight, and we'll see where everybody's fixed after that.
Yeah, it'll be easy enough training this week, will it?
Yeah, no bother getting them gathered up this week. So look, the turnaround is very quick, as you said, and it doesn't give much time for injuries to heal, or it doesn't give you much time to work on anything new either. So, but
it's the same for me.
Same for me. Look, because we're just really glad to have that opportunity.
Yeah. Obviously, confidence has been greatly boosted as well by beating Dublin.
Massive. We've had a lot of bad days against Dublin, even though we've had quite a good record against Dublin. I think that's 3 times we've beaten them. I'm not sure anybody else has beaten them 3 times in Big Bones' tenure. So, but yeah, look, the nature of the defeat, and look, we were very comfortable, and at one stage we were 10 points up and really cruising, and we're full value for that at the way Saturday played out. So yeah, look, you often hear you're only as good as your last performance. So if that's as good as we are, we'll be happy enough.
Yeah.